Hey friends, Quill here. Welcome back to another Dexit Predictions episode here on the channel. If you're enjoying this series and the other ones on the channel just as much as I am, make sure you hit that like button down below and subscribe, turn on notifications so you don't miss any of the action, and enjoy the video. Make sure to do that also, more importantly. So if you watched my video, I think it was Saturday, I was going to be doing a prediction of the typings for Zacian and Zamazenta. However, since then, or actually before then, the Pokedex for Pokemon Sword and Shield have been leaked. At the time, I said I wasn't sure if I believed the leaks or not, and I wanted to hold off on doing this sort of video until the leaks were absolutely confirmed. While they are not themselves confirmed by Nintendo, they are extremely believable. There are screenshots of the Pokedex. There are multiple sources that say the same thing. And there's pictures of the actual Switch and these Pokemon in the games that would be so incredibly difficult to recreate. And again, the fact that we've seen them from more than one source makes me believe them more. I think at this point, the leaked version of the Pokedex is what we're going to be seeing in the games. That said, I did want to take this time to go over my Dexit predictions. There will not be any spoilers. I will not be spoiling which Pokemon get Galarian forms or Galarian evolutions. I'm strictly going to be going over which Pokemon are and are not in the game. Galarian forms and the like we'll do at a later date. Stay tuned for that if you want spoiled on the different Galarian forms that we're going to find in the new games. For now, I'm just strictly telling you which Pokemon are in the new Pokedex and which ones are not. If you don't want to see that, I would suggest clicking off of this video. If you do, I'm going to go ahead and say it in 3, 2, 1. Okay, friends, there are only 400 Pokemon confirmed for the new games. Of those 481 are totally new species that we're not going to be talking about those today because today is going to be spoiler free. And you see all this green that's on here now that's not going to be there in a bit because there are a lot of Pokemon cut from these games. I want to direct your attention down here to the bottom right hand of the screen. Pokemon highlighted in blue were confirmed for the game before I had the chance to guess about them. Pokemon in green are Pokemon that I expected to be in the game, and Pokemon in red are Pokemon that I predicted would not be in the game. Pokemon in pink are Pokemon that are confirmed for the game that I guessed wouldn't be, and this kind of periwinkle color is Pokemon that I thought would be in the game and I was right about, that are confirmed for the game now. On the flip side, down here, if a Pokemon is not included, it will either be this dark purple color, meaning I got it correct, I said that it wouldn't be in the game and it indeed is not, or this dark green color saying that I thought it would be in the game and I got it wrong. So it was deconfirmed for the game. I will withhold my discussion about the Pokedex as a whole. I'll save that for another episode. But for individual Pokemon, I will tell you whether or not I'm surprised. So there's a lot to get through and we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. Alright, first up that has changed, I'm going in the order, by the way, of the Galar Pokedex. And I'm only going to be discussing Pokemon that weren't already confirmed. So Seedot has been confirmed for the new games, which I think is really cool. It's not surprising given that Ludicolo and the bunch are in there. They're sort of seen as opposites of each other. Another one that was correct was Delibird. We have seen it in the new game. Interesting choice. Like I said, Game Freak loves it, so it's going to be in the game. One that I had right that a lot of people didn't think would be in the games are Dwebble and Crustle. They will be there. But one evolutionary group that I got wrong was the Muna line. We will be seeing them. Shout out to Lysithea, who's beyond the beyond. By the way, if you're not watching my Pokemon Black Randomizer Nuzlocke, you definitely should. We had a Musharna. Another evolutionary family I guessed correctly was the Krabby line. They will be joining us in the Galar region. Did I say correctly? I meant incorrectly if I didn't. However, I did guess the Corphish line correctly. Another evolutionary family I guessed would not be in the game that will be is the Nincada line. An interesting choice there. I think integrating Wonder Guard is going to be really interesting, and it's going to be neutralized by Weezing, Galarian Weezing, so I don't know if I agree with this one. Another evolutionary family that I correctly included was the Clink line. I think it'll be interesting to see them. I also correctly guessed the Stunky line. I think that Skuntank could see some real competitive usage here. Given the smaller size of the Pokedex, I think it has a good chance of seeing some competitive use. Another family that I was incorrect about was Remoraid and Octillery. I'm really excited to see them. Once again, shout out to the Pokemon Black Randomizer. Unsurprisingly, we do see Shelter and Cloyster in the new games. And Basculin also made it in. I don't necessarily see why, but there it is and there it shall stay, I suppose. Alright, and now we get to a Pokemon, probably the only Pokemon that's been included that I can honestly say makes me mad. I'm kind of mad that Pyukumuku has been included in the game. I think there are a bunch of Pokemon in the Pokedex that could have been included instead, and Pyukumuku is just not a good addition. Like I said, the only one that actually makes me legitimately angry is Pyukumuku. Alright, I am so glad to see Drillbur and Excadrill in the games. They're such good Pokemon. I'm so glad that they made it. Of course, when they included Swirlix, they had to include Spritzee. That's just a given. Then we come to a Generation 7 family that I think I'm most excited to see. If not, it's definitely one of the most exciting ones that we haven't heard of before, and that is the Dewpider and Araquanid line. I think with this abridged Pokedex, they really have the chance to do some work. Also coming back is Scraggy and Scrafty. Again, I'm really excited these ones are coming back. Really good Pokemon can do a lot of damage like Araquanid. It's just outclassed by so many things that aren't going to be coming back, so I think that bodes really well for the Scraggy family. Stunfisk, like I predicted, will be in the game, as well as Shuckle. You can't leave Shuckle out of the new games. And Barboach will also be in the game, which is a little bit of a surprise to me, if I'm not going to lie, because we already have seen Shellos and Gastrodon in the game. Corsola will also be making an appearance, which does surprise me, not going to lie. And I was right about Salanda and Salazzle's unique typing being enough to make it into the game. Another Pokemon that I'm really glad to see is Pawniard and Bisharp. I think that's really interesting that they made it in, and I'm really glad that they did. Nobody's surprised that Shelmet and Excelgor got in. They have to be in because Carablast and Escavalier are included, so for those of you who don't know, you have to trade those Pokemon with each other to evolve each of them. Not surprising there. I did not anticipate Elgyem and Beheeyem to be in the games, but it turns out they are. However, I got Cubchoo and Beartic correct, which I'm so excited about. I love those Pokemon. And a Pokemon I'm extremely happy to be wrong about is the Skorupi line. Drapion will be in the game, which I really like Drapion, so I'm glad it's in there. Just like that, I thought they are including all of the weather setters, so Torkoal is in as well. I think Durant and Heatmore were some of those Pokemon that I wasn't sure if they'd be in the game or not, but they are in fact included. Of course, you can't have one without the other. And not gonna lie, I was kinda shocked to find that Yamask and Cofagrigus are in the game. Not too upset about it though. Rapidash is also in the game, and I'm gonna go ahead and mark it blue right now, even though that's not so much of a spoiler if I tell you that has a Galarian form, but for continuity's sake, I'm gonna go ahead and make it blue for now. We all know that it's getting a Galarian form. Like I said previously, Passimian and Oranguru just bring a competitive aspect to the game that I think is really nice. I think it's a good move that they kept them in. Now listen, I know I said that Solrock and Lunatone were going to be in the game just because I enjoyed cryptids in my Fire Red Omega Nuzlocke challenge, but it turns out I was right. We will be seeing them in the game. As I guessed before, Mr. Mime will in fact be in the game, and so will Mime Jr. I'll go correct that one off screen though. As well as Darumaka and Darmanitan, who I am not surprised to see in the games given their popularity and their competitive viability, especially with the cut Pokedex. Like we saw during the discussion of our last video, Ditto will be in the game, and I already told you guys I'm super excited to see it because it means that competitive breeding is going to be so much easier than if Ditto were not in the game. I am downright shocked to see Silvally and type Null. I didn't think we would see them or any of the Ultra Beasts, to be honest. I don't understand what business they're going to have in the Galar region. Maybe we'll see some more Ultra Beasts that aren't released yet. That's always a possibility. Maybe we'll see the old ones come back. Either way, I am still surprised to see these Pokemon at this stage of the game. Alright, and that does it for all of the Pokemon that are returning from the new games. All of the ones that you see that are in green or red right now are cut. And we're going to go through them really fast. I'm going to explain how I feel about them. But that is a huge, huge amount of Pokemon. All of them in green or red right now are cut from the games. And I'll talk about it in a different video. I'm going to be surprised. Generation took a bigger hit than I expected them to, especially the starters, being that Charmander, Charmeleon, and Charizard are in the games. I'm really, really shocked to not see the Kanto starters especially. Alongside that, I'm surprised not to see Weedle, since we do in fact see the Butterfree line. Along with that, no Pidgey, Arbok, and Ekans, who everyone thought was going to get a Galar form. Neither of them are in the game. Sandshrew and Sandslash don't surprise me as much, but the Nidos absolutely do. As you can see, I was correct about the Rattata line and the Fearow line, no big surprises there. Now I am totally shocked to see Jigglypuff and Wigglytuff not included on this list, as well as Zubat and Golbat. Zubat and Golbat haven't been in every regional Pokedex since Pokemon started, so to not include them here is really shocking to me. Jigglypuff is so recognizable. I mean, it's in Smash of all things. I'm really shocked not to see Jigglypuff. I guess I'm not quite surprised to see Venonat and Venomoth cut. It's not the biggest thing in the world. Same with Psyduck and Golduck, although they're a little bit more recognizable. I am a little bit surprised at that one, I suppose. Poliwag does kind of surprise me because Politoed is a rain setter, but that's the way it goes, I guess. And then Paris, Parasect, and the Primeape line, again, not too surprising because they don't stand out very much. All right, now I'm very extremely shocked that we're not going to be seeing Alakazam. Alakazam is such a good Pokemon, and it seems like a staple to the competitive scene and the games that it's just so shocking to think that we won't see it this time around. I'm personally kind of glad that we won't be running it into any tentacles or Geodudes in the water. That's a good thing in my book, but I will miss the Slowbro line, at least until Generation 4. I'm holding out to there. Magnemite, just like Zubat, is a huge surprise because it's been in every generation Dex since Pokemon started, but we won't be seeing it this time around. And Grimer and Muck being counted out, even though Weezing is in the game, is also really surprising to me. I am a little bit surprised not to see the Bellsprout line, given that the Oddish line made it in because they're kind of seen as counterparts to each other, but that, you know, there they are, not in the games. The Doduo line and the Seal line, not that surprising. No Hypno, I'm honestly kind of glad about that. No Execute and Executor, which is really shocking to me, as well as the Cubone line, very popular Pokemon, and they got Alolan forms last time around, so we know that Game Freak knows about them. I just don't know why they didn't include them in these games. Lickitung's a little bit surprising. Chansey's very surprising. Tangela is not that big of a shock, though. Kangaskhan is, Game Freak loves Kangaskhan. I don't know why it's not in this game. With Kingdra's unique typing, I'm really shocked not to see Horsey in the game either. Staryu and Starmie are absolute staples in the competitive game, so I'm really kind of surprised not to see them this time around. Same thing with Scyther and Scizor, and Pinsir and Tauros, all these Pokemon that are really good that we're not seeing, and I'm shocked about it. Same goes for the Dragonite line. Apparently, they won't be in the new game. Mewtwo and Mew are a little bit interesting. Okay, so Mew is not reported to be in the regional Pokedex of Pokemon Sword and Shield, which makes us doubt a little bit what we do and don't know. We do know that Mew is in the game. It's confirmed to be in the game. However, it is not in the Pokedex. So that opens the door for other mythical Pokemon to be included, but as of now, I will be marking them out. We'll see what happens in the future. No big surprise with Jinx, Electabuzz, and Magmar. They can get, same goes for Porygon. They can get rid of some items that way. Obviously, the fossils we kind of knew weren't going to make it, as well as the legendary Pokemon. So moving on to Johto. Once again, I'm kind of surprised not to see the starters, but I guess that's the way this game is going to go. Furret and Sentret, I'm really not surprised about. Lediba and Spinarak also won't be making it. Again, I predicted that one. Mareep, another sheep Pokemon, it just didn't have room in the game. I am a little bit surprised by Marill and Azumarill. Again, very important Pokemon in the metagame and Pokemon that I'm surprised not to see again. Same goes for Apom. I'm a little bit shocked about that one. Ambipom is kind of a niche Pokemon, but still very well used and very well liked. I'm not surprised to see Sunkern and Sunflora left out. In fact, I'm surprised that I included them to begin with at all. I am surprised that Murkrow and Honchkrow are not in the games, although not too surprised because then they can cut down on the number of items they've got. Same goes for Misdreavus. Everyone was talking about how Girafarig was going to get a Galar form, but it's not even in the game, so I guess that's not the case. And the same definitely goes for Dunsparce. In terms of Forretress, I'm not so surprised. It's gonna kind of be weird not to have it there in the competitive scene, but that's just how it goes. And the same sort of thing for Gligar. I'm not terribly shocked, but it's going to be a hit to the competitive scene. Granbull I'm actually really surprised about because of the lore. So Granbull being a bulldog and the UK being so famous for bulldogs, it's a little bit surprising. The Hoppip line, not surprising at all. I really don't like to not see Yanma. I like Yanmega a lot, but it doesn't make sense for it to be in the region. Same goes for Unknown. There's no reason for it to be there. I'm kind of surprised and kind of sad not to see Heracross in the game. Same goes for the Ursaring line. And I'm kind of wondering if I looked at Slugma and Magcargo before Roly-Poly was introduced, because that thing's very obviously rock and fire type. I am surprised not to see the Houndour line. Again, pretty unique typing. Everyone thought that Phanpy was going to get that Galar form, but no Stantler, that one's not so surprising, and Smeargle is going to be a huge hit to the competitive scene. A Pokemon that can learn every move is very useful, so the fact that we're not seeing it, kind of a letdown. Skarmory not being included, everyone saw coming. With Corviknight being a Steel and Flying type, there's just no room for it, no reason for it to be in the region. Again, legendaries, not surprised in the slightest that they're not included. Moving on to Generation 3. Again, we don't know about Mythicals yet, but starters are also not included. No surprise about Poochyena, Mariana, too many dark types, and the bug types Wurmple and its evolutions. It's a really interesting and convoluted sort of evolution that we're not going to see. Oh, I forgot Miltank and Blissey. They won't be in the games. I'm surprised by both of those also. I am a little bit surprised not to see Surskit given its unique typing. Breloom and Shroomish, that's a really big letdown. A lot of people like them a lot. Whismur is not that much of a surprise. They don't stand out very much, but Hariyama is pretty popular. I think a lot of people hate to see that one go. Probopass, another unique typing that won't be in the game. And Skitty is not too big of a surprise if I'm being honest. Taillow and Swellow, unfortunately, are just lost in a sea of flying type Pokemon. And the Slack offline, there was no way that they were putting Neutralizing Gas on a Galarian Weezing and Truant on a Slacking in the same game. That just doesn't make sense. This one makes me truly sad. To not see Aaron in the new game and Aggron and Lairon, that one's sad. I don't like that. But I guess that's, you know, they had to cut some Pokemon that people liked, and Aggron had to be one of them. The Lightning Bug Pokemon, not surprising at all. Although Sharpedo is a little bit of a surprise. They are kind of tropical, so I can kind of see them being left out. Numel and Camerupt are kind of surprising though, given their unique typing. Grumpig is not that shocking though. Medicham, I didn't expect it to be there because we saw Gallade. Plusle and Minun really aren't there for any specific reason. The Swallout line, you know, poison types, we've got a million of them. And Spidnut, there's just too many skins. I am a little bit shocked not to see Altaria. It's competitively viable, it's popular in general. I'm not sure I agree with leaving that one out. But Zangoose and Seviper also are not in, which is surprising to me also given their competitive nature. Fossils are out, no big surprise. Again with Maractus, I think they should have put Maractus in instead of Cacturne. However, they decided to put Maractus in instead, I guess to allow Shiftry to be in as the grass dark type. Leaving out Castform and Kecleon makes it so that they don't have to code different abilities into the game, so I suppose that was a good move. Tropius doesn't stand out nearly enough to be in the game, so that makes sense. Shuppet and Banette, I originally put them in the predictions, although I'm not surprised that they didn't make it. They're not that standoutish without the Mega Banette. Chimecho, I'm a little bit surprised, but not too much. I mean, it's not like it's this great Pokemon that everyone loves and adores. Although Absol is, and so I'm really shocked not to see that one in the new games. Spheal is no real surprise. They're a dime a dozen in terms of water types. Same goes for Clamperl and Relicanth and Love Disc, although I am absolutely dumbfounded to see that we're not getting Bagon in the new games. That's a little bit crazy to me. Same goes for the Beldum line. They're just so popular and so good. I wonder what it's going to be like without them. Again, with Jirachi, we're not quite sure. Mew is not in the Pokedex and yet is in the game, so maybe there'll be something where Jirachi has a chance to be in, but there's no real indication that that will happen. Legendary Pokemon should stay legendary and stay in their place. Again, all starter Pokemon that are not named Charmander get a hard pass, which I disagree with. Staraptor being left out is a big issue for a lot of people. I think it's the favorite of regional birds, except maybe Talonflame, so it being left out is not a huge fan favorite. Kricketune and Kricketot, not too surprising. They're not that standoutish. I just thought the Game Freak liked them enough to leave them in. Shinx, Luxio, and Luxray. That one's a little bit surprising, not gonna lie. Everyone likes that line, and I think that there's going to be a little bit of upset that they're not included. Weasel and Floatzel are not that surprising. I'm sad to say that this will be the first generation that we don't see any new Bidoof memes. Of course, we've got our fossils here. There was no reason for Burmy and Wormadam and Mothim to be in the game. They just took up space. And I'm a little bit upset not to see Pachirisu, although I'm not surprised. Glameow and Perugly, I think when I included them, I had just seen a video that said that there was a leak that they were going to get a Galar form. So I'm not terribly surprised to see them left out. They're not popular at all. Although Garchomp is a huge hit. There's no way I saw that one coming. Of course, Baniri and Lopunny are completely irrelevant without Mega Evolution. Chatot, and Spiritomb. I'm a little bit surprised about Spiritomb, just a wee little bit, because Spiritomb's so cool and everyone likes it so much. I'm not surprised to see Carnivine cut. When I first heard that any Pokemon were getting cut, Finneon was the first one to come to my mind. And then we have more legendaries, so it's on to Generation 5. Once again with the mythicals from Generation 4 and Victini. As of yet, we don't think that they'll be in the game, but with Mew being there adds some uncertainty. Bye-bye all of the starters. I am shocked to not see Lillipup in the game. I think a lot of people like it, and I think it fits in the Galar region. Apparently Game Freak did not. Patrat and Watchog are basically irrelevant. There's no reason for them to be in the game. I'm kind of glad they're left out. And the same goes for these stupid monkeys. No one thinks that they deserve to be in the games. I thought that Game Freak would leave them in. However, they did not. I'm almost glad for that one. Obviously, no Blitzel, no Zebstrika. Audino really was a kind of a Chansey replacement, although Chansey didn't make it either. The Swaddle line does not stand out. There's no surprise that they won't be in the new game, although the Venipede line being cut is a little bit of a shock to me. And I really can't believe that they didn't let in Lilligant and Petalil, even though they let in Cottonee and Whimsicott. That one, I'm gonna have to go double check really fast. And yeah, it looks like there is no Petalil and Lilligant. That one's a real shock to me, but not quite as shocking as the exclusion of Sandile. That line is extremely popular and very good competitively. It's a little bit surprising. More fossils. Goodbye, my friends. Not seeing Zorua and Zoroark is a little bit of a shock to me just because they have their own movie. Although on second thought, Deerling and Sawsbuck are not that surprising. Same with Emolga. Ducklet and Swanna. We already have water and flying types galore in the Galar region, and we don't need more Pokeball gimmicks, so that's not surprising. Also cut is Alamamola. Not surprising there either. I am a little bit surprised to see the Electros line left out. The Cryogonal line is less surprising to me, at least. And then of course we see that Mienfoo, Mienshao, Dredigon, and Bouffalant are all Pokemon that we guessed correctly wouldn't be in the game. Now Larvesta and Volcarona are a little bit disappointing to me. They're some of my favorite Pokemon. I really like fire types and bug types. So not to see them is a little bit disappointing. And then we've got all the legendaries and then the starters of the next generation as usual. A lot of people are really surprised that Fletchling did not make it into the game. I'm among them. I think that the Talonflame line is pretty recognizable, pretty popular, so it's a bold choice to leave them out. In terms of Litleo and Pyroar, I am surprised just because they're very regal looking, in my eyes at least. So not to see them is a little bit jarring. Flabebe, Floette, and Florges are a little bit of a surprise, not too big. They're just like run-of-the-mill fairy types. Same goes with Gogoat and Skidoo, not too shocked to see them gone. Vivian just couldn't be in the game with the number of forms that it had, in my opinion. Furfrou, same thing. Barbaracle is so forgettable, there's no reason it should have been in the first place. Although Dragalge does kind of surprise me, given that they're, at least at this point, I don't think is a dragon and poison type replacement for it. The Clauncher line is a little bit surprising to me, although not terribly so. Dedenne is not the biggest loss in the world. Although I am really, really upset to see Klefki not in the new game. I love Klefki, and I'm not excited. I wouldn't be excited to fight it competitively, but I'm still excited. I'm still surprised to see it go. All right, obviously fossils, there's no reason they should be there. Carbink never should have been a Pokemon in the first place. My opinion, I can have it. And then we've got some mythicals and some legendaries that we've already talked about. And then Generation 7, the starters, obviously not included, which is so unfortunate because this is a really good batch of starters. Toucanon, really not a surprise. I don't know why I included it in the first place. Crabrawler and Crabominable, I'm not terribly shocked to see them excluded. I thought that their unique typing would get them in the game. I am surprised that Rockruff and Lycanroc didn't make it just because Game Freak seems to love them so much. Obviously, Pokemon Donald Trump is not going to be there. And again, too many forms bird. I think when I first guessed Palisand and Sandygast, I had seen a video that theorized that perhaps they'd get a Galarian form just because they're Galarian beaches. Not terribly surprised that they're excluded. They are pretty tropical along with the Lurantis line and definitely Comfey. Minior has too many forms and a unique ability. Kamala, unique ability that they don't have to code now. And Bruxish is just kind of, no one likes it unfortunately, and I'm not surprised to see it left out. And then we've got a whole bunch of legendaries and ultra beasts to round us out. Again, we've discussed that. No big surprise there at all. And there you have it. That is the final picture, minus some Galar forms that we need to put in there and change a little bit, but that is it. I'm going to withhold any comments I might have about this list as it looks right now for another video. Make sure to stay tuned for that. But I will just say that looking at it, it looks very dark, indicating that we've lost a lot of Pokemon. In general, there's nothing too groundbreaking. There are some really big surprises in there, but there's a lot more later generation representation than I expected. A lot more Generation 1 Pokemon got cut than I expected. Overall, I think we've got a passable cast. I think these will still be... Oh, I forgot. I forgot these Pokeball knockoffs up here. Well, you know, they're easily forgettable anyway, so you know. So that is it, my friends. Let me know down below. What do you think? Do you think they cut too many Pokemon? Do you think they cut not enough? I'm going to give you guys my opinion in a video coming up. Like I said, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss videos coming forward. I'm still really excited for these games, so I hope you guys are too. But that'll do it for today, my friends. So as always, see you next time.